My first shift as a 911 dispatcher was a baptism by fire, but not in the way you might think. It wasn't the chaos or the high-stakes calls that got to me. It was the silence, that deep, unnerving quiet between calls, where you just sit and wait for the next disaster. My supervisor, a seasoned veteran named Gloria, told me I'd get used to it. The quiet is a good thing. Kid, she'd said, means people are safe. But that night, the quiet felt different. It felt heavy. The first call came in around 2 a.m. The connection was terrible, crackling with static like an old AM radio. A woman's voice, thin and trembling, cut through the noise. "Hello, is anyone there? We need help." I followed protocol, asking for her name and location. "My name is Eleanor," she whispered, her voice barely audible. I'm in Havenwood." The name didn't ring a bell. I typed it into the system, but nothing came up. No town, no county, not even a street with that name. "Ma'am, can you spell that for me? I'm not finding any Havenwood in our system." The line crackled again, louder this time. "Of course you can't," she said, a strange mix of resignation and fear in her voice. "It's not on your maps anymore." Before I could ask what she meant, the line went dead. I stared at the console, a chill crawling up my spine. I flagged the call for my supervisor, but Gloria just shrugged it off. "Probably a prank, kid, or a ghost call. Happens all the time with old lines. Don't let it get to you." But it did get to me. There was something in Eleanor's voice, a genuine terror that a prankster couldn't fake. An hour later, another call. Same static, same faint, desperate tone. This time, it was a man. "The lights are going out," he stammered. "We can't see anything. Please, send someone to Havenwood." Again, I asked for a landmark, a cross street, anything. And again, the same cryptic response. "Just follow the old mill road," he said, his voice fading. "It's the only way in, but be careful. The road isn't what it used to be." Then, click. Dead air. 2 calls, both from a place that didn't exist, both with the same eerie static. I was starting to feel like I was in the middle of a ghost story. My hands trembled slightly as I pulled up archived county records on my secondary monitor. Primera de tu no. I typed Havenwood into the historical database search bar. The system whirred for a moment, and then a single file appeared. It was an old town planning document, dated 50 years ago. The title read, Havenwood Township. Decommission and evacuation order. My blood ran cold. According to the file, Havenwood was a small, isolated mining town that had been completely evacuated and officially dissolved 5 decades prior. The reason was listed as a catastrophic dam failure that had flooded the entire valley where the town once stood. It was submerged, wiped off the map. A modern-eye Atlantis, buried under a man-made lake. The town didn't just disappear, it was drowned. So, who was calling me? How were they calling me? My training hadn't prepared me for calls from a ghost town at the bottom of a lake. I looked at the call log. The numbers were untraceable, bouncing from non-existent cell towers. It was impossible. I showed Gloria the file. She paled, her usual calm demeanor cracking for the first time. I've heard stories, she admitted, her voice low. Old-timers talk about it sometimes. They say, on quiet nights, you can still hear the church bells from under the water. Her words hung in the air, heavy and unsettling. I thought about Eleanor, about the man talking about the lights going out. Were they echoes of the past, trapped in a loop? Or was something else happening? Just as I was about to dismiss it all as a stress-induced hallucination, the line lit up again. It was Eleanor. The static was almost deafening now, but her voice was clearer, sharper, filled with an urgency that froze me in my seat. "He's here," she cried. "The water. It's rising. Not from the dam this time. It's coming from below. From the mines. Please, you have to warn everyone." Warn who? Everyone in Havenwood had been gone for half a century. What was she talking about? Before I could form a coherent question, another voice broke through the static. It was deep, guttural, and not entirely human. It was a sound of immense pressure, of shifting earth and groaning wood, a sound that spoke of ancient things disturbed from their slumber. Then Eleanor screamed. It was a raw, visceral sound of pure terror that cut right through me. The line filled with the sound of rushing water, splintering wood, and that awful, deep groaning. Then silence, a silence more profound and terrifying than anything I had ever experienced. The call didn't disconnect, the line stayed open, but there was nothing there. Just dead, empty quiet. I sat there, paralyzed. For what felt like an eternity, Gloria was standing behind me, her hand on my shoulder, her face as white as a sheet. We didn't speak. We didn't have to. The sun started to rise, painting the sky in soft shades of orange and pink, but it brought no comfort. The darkness of that night clung to me. I never received another call from Havenwood. I looked into it further, discreetly. I found old newspaper clippings about the dam break. They were brief, official reports, but tucked away in the archives. I found one small, local article that was different. It mentioned that during the evacuation, several miners had refused to leave, claiming they had awoken something deep in the tunnels, something that shouldn't be disturbed. The official story was that they all drowned in the flood. But after the calls I took, I'm not so sure. I still work as a The quiet doesn't bother me anymore. Now, I'm afraid of the calls. Every time a line crackles with static, my heart stops. I listen, waiting, praying I don't hear a faint, desperate voice asking for help from a town that shouldn't exist. A town that drowned 50 years ago. Some places aren't meant to be forgotten, and some voices refuse to be silenced. Thank you for listening to my story. If you've ever had an experience you can't explain, let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this, please consider liking and subscribing for more strange tales from the other side of the line. Stay safe.